What's up, everybody? Gary Franchi here, Next News Network. I am at this very minute pinning the live show to the profile on my X account. If you haven't followed us on X yet, what are you waiting for? Welcome to Raw Feed. We're coming to you live from the heart of America, where truth still matters. And millions of patriots worldwide are tuning in right now on YouTube, Rumble, and X. And what sets us apart from every other show out there, we don't just report the news, we interact with the viewers in real time. Your reactions, your thoughts, your voice matters here. Now, before we dive into today's exclusive lineup, I need to do something critical. Grab your phone right now and text the stream to at least 3 people. Bypass Big Tech's algorithm and get the word out. For our ex-viewers, hit that repost button and spread this to your followers. We need every patriot watching. Now, today is July 7th, and on this day in 1981, President Ronald Reagan nominated Sandra Day O'Connor as the first woman to serve on the Supreme Court. Reagan faced massive pressure from the establishment, but he stood firm, just like another president we know who's standing firm today against even greater odds. But unlike Reagan, Trump now faces sabotage from within, even from supposed allies trying to split the conservative vote with vanity projects. And speaking of splitting, that's exactly what Elon Musk tried to do with his July 4th with his America Party announcement. Trump called it ridiculous, and when you see who's backing it, Cuban, Scaramucci, Pence, it's an establishment desperation. They can't beat Trump's results, so they're trying to divide his voters. But the real stories today prove why they're panicking. Trump's big, beautiful bill has just delivered on every promise while Musk plays politics. ICE is back with a vengeance despite a 700% increase in attacks on agents. The Jeffrey Epstein cover-up is collapsing. They literally left the edit menu visible on the surveillance footage. And Carnival Cruise Lines finally said enough to their floating chaos, and in Texas, the left exploits flood victims while heroes do their jobs. And speaking of heroes, we'll be reading your super chats and your Rumble rants between segments, featuring them on screen for the world to see. So send them in right now. Your message could reach millions. This is your chance to bypass the gatekeepers and speak directly to America. For those wanting exclusive access, join our YouTube channel memberships, get special recognition in the chat, behind-the-scenes content, and access to our members-only 24/7 Discord. When you join, you're not just a viewer, you are part of the family. And if you want to support privately, you can hit the donation links in the description. Every dollar keeps independent while the establishment tries to silence truth. And while you're there, why don't you visit shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and show the world you stand with real news, not billionaire stunts. We've got Alligator Alcatraz, President Otto Penn, and our American Badass series ready to ship. And Rumble Family, X Brigade, follow us on all platforms. When one goes down, we're still live on others, and that's how we beat censorship. That is how the truth survives. Today's show exposes what the mainstream media desperately hides. From Trump's victories to Epstein's edited footage, from border battles to cruise ship brawls, we're bringing receipts. The establishment's terrified because we are winning. So buckle up, share the stream, and prepare for truth bombs that will rock the swamp. The revolution isn't coming, it's here, and you are a part of it. So let's get into it. The Raw Feed starts now. Let's welcome you to the show. Let's see who's in the house tonight. Bringing it in here. Let's see who we have. Russ Meadows and Jay Tyrus. We got ZXZVB 2009 says, deport Musk now. Karen Finley's here. El Shara Silverheart. Michael Fiacco. Tyson Curie, what's up to you? Who else is in the house? Let's take a look. We've got Pothead Kenny, what's up? Nancy Pelosi's liver is in the house. What's up? How's that liver feeling after that weekend? We got Implode is here, saying Trump is controlled and takes direct orders from the Rothschilds. Don't be fooled. We got Brad McKay here. If they wake up, what will they see? Great question. What's up? Bleep Bloop is here. Trump needs to drop Pelteri. Who's that? And then who else is in the house? We got Deanna, Christopher Key. We got Lee Chowning is here. Michael Jones, Wild Pete in the house. Brett K. Sabrina, Jerome, Carolina Girl. What's up, Carolina Girl? Who else is here tonight? We got Joseph Persons in the house. Let's see. Deanna and Susan and Lee, Sabrina. I'm just going through the list. Lamb's Grace, Patricia Duff, Smoochy, smoochy. What's up, guys? Great to see y'all here. We've got a lot of news to uncover in this live stream. Thank you for joining us. So I think we should jump right into it. Before we do, I believe we have a trivia question. Yeah, I think you guys are going to know this one if you know me, if you've been following me for a while. What year did Congress pass the 16th Amendment allowing federal income tax? Oh, I know this answer. It was at A, 1909, B, 1913, C, 1920, or D, 1933? Well, I know the answer. So, I believe it's B. I'm going to just say it because I know it. You guys are already weighing in. You guys are agreeing with me. We'll see who got it wrong after the segment. They said it couldn't be done. They said the promises were too big and too bold, too beautiful. But while Trump delivered historic victories this week, a billionaire just tried to blow it all up. Elon Musk has announced his America Party on July 4th, claiming he's going to save democracy. Well, Trump's response was swift and brutal, calling it ridiculous and warning third parties have never worked. Now, the timing is suspicious, just as job numbers crush expectations, borders are secured, and gas prices plummet. Suddenly, we need a new party? Mark Cuban, Anthony Scaramucci, and Mike Pence all jumping on board? That should tell you everything you need to know. The establishment's terrified because Trump's victories are real, and they're desperate to split the vote. So here is what really happened this week. Now, you probably do think your 401k, though, is safe, but it wasn't designed to make you wealthy. It was built to shift retirement costs and risks onto you, leaving your savings exposed to crashes, inflation, and chaos. But Americans are waking up and taking control of real assets like gold. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands secure their future by converting part of their 401k into a tax-advantaged gold IRA without penalties or headaches. It's safe, it's simple, and smart. Visit nextnewsgold.com and get your free wealth protection kit and discover how to safeguard your savings. Open a qualified account today and receive 2 5-ounce silver America the Beautiful coins absolutely free. That's nextnewsgold.com. Your exit from the danger zone. And the number on the screen also, 877-646-5347. When you call and you speak to Colin, tell him that Gary Franchi sent you. All right, so check this out. Here is the moment that the big, beautiful bill 3 days ago signed into law.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Wow.
Mr. President, this is the gavel we use to enact the big, beautiful bill, and I want you to have that for your
Are we ready?
Gavel us in.
Are we ready? Yeah.
It was a beautiful moment, and of course, now Elon Musk, a couple days prior to the spending bill passing, he says if this bill passes, insane spending bill passes, the American Party will be formed the next day. Our country needs an alternative to the Democrat-Republican Uniparty so that the people actually have a voice. You know, Elon Musk is a smart guy. He is a freaking genius. But when it comes to understanding third parties, yeah, he needs a little bit more education. Okay? Kevin O'Leary says Trump and Elon need to bury the hatchet. He's ready to broker the peace himself. He says it's bad for America. This is Kevin O'Leary's take.
Everybody. Here's what I think about this idea. Bad idea. Here's what has to happen. Trump and Elon have to get back together again. Frankly, I'm thinking of calling both up myself and saying this is stupid. Yeah. It's stupid for everybody. This is bad for America. We need number one industrialist, the most advanced in technology worldwide, working with the most powerful man on earth. It doesn't matter about politics anymore. It matters that these two are working together. These are giant egos, and it's not good for America. It's just bad. We don't need a third party. Ross Perot tried that. Bad idea. It's all bad. These two guys have to get together. I'm not the only person that feels this way in his inner circle, where everybody knows this is bad. Here's what I think
Everybody
about
knows it's bad. Now, here's my friend Jack Lombardi's take. He said that Elon Musk is taking a position against Republicans by building a centrist party that's fiscally responsible and even leans libertarian. Still, I'm sure he'll support fiscally responsible Republicans as well, but don't be surprised when a secret billionaire funnels money into a socialist party to pull socialists away from the Democrats and counter Elon's move. That's how this game works. He went on to say, I appreciate your contributions to our country, but I must speak truthfully. I hope you have a counter argument as I seek only truth. You provide no evidence that Democrats will join your party while unions influence them and you oppose unions. Your party targets only the moderate right. Thus, I see your party as a tactic to push President Trump to renegotiate EV subsidies. Nothing more, nothing less. Convince me otherwise. And here we have Donald Trump breaking his silence on Elon Musk creating a third party.
Ridiculous to start.
Your reaction to Elon Musk starting a third party?
I think it's ridiculous to start a third party. We have a tremendous success with the Republican Party. The Democrats have lost their way, but it's always been a two-party system. And I think starting a third party just adds to confusion. It really seems to have been developed for two parties. Third parties have never worked. So he can have fun with it, but I think it's ridiculous.
I think it's ridiculous as well. Let's keep going down the list here. Here's Elon Musk 2 days ago by a factor of 2 to 1. You want a new political party? You shall have it. When it comes to bankrupting our country with waste and graft, we live in a one-party system, not a democracy. Today, the American Party is formed to give you back your freedom. Independence Day is the perfect time to ask if you want independence from a two-party, some say uniparty system. Well, I'm not going to disagree with the uniparty system, but what are you going to do? You're just going to be pulling votes away from Republicans. Okay? There is no viability of a third party, and we have seen it time and time again, tried over and over again. It only favors one of the larger parties. Here is CNN reporting on that. Elon Musk's New America Party only has support from 4% of the voters. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, this entire thing makes very little sense to me. It makes about as much sense as selling sand in the desert. What are we talking about here? What is the size of Elon Musk's base? Well, I calculate it to be about 4%, just 4%, 1, 2, 3, 4% of all voters. What is that base made up of? Well, it's those who view Elon Musk favorably and the GOP unfavorably. We're talking just about 4% of all voters out there, because it turns out most of the people who like Elon Musk already like the GOP already. That is, they already have a party for him. In my mind, there is just no base for Elon Musk's third party in the electorate, at least initially speaking.
All right. When we talk about
So let's think about this for a second. Elon Musk, richest man in the world. What's he going to do? Throw billions and billions and billions of dollars behind this party? Try to recruit people into it? I mean, it's going to take a hell of a lot of work to come up against the Republican and Democrat Party. Here we have more. 23 hours ago, Trump condemning Elon's little stunt and highlights how the U.S. political system is not built for third parties. The only realistic path to victory is to take over one of the two existing parties and reform their policies from within, which is what Donald Trump has done with the Republican Party. Now, this is a lengthy post that Donald Trump posted on Truth Social. I mean, look at this block of text. Come on, man. Haven't you ever heard of the paragraph breaks? So this is what Trump said. He says, I'm saddened to watch Elon Musk go completely off the rails, essentially becoming a train wreck over the past 5 weeks. He wants to start a third political party despite the fact that they have never succeeded in the United States. The system seems not designed for them. The one thing third parties are good for is the creation of complete and total disruption and chaos, and we have enough of that with the radical left Democrats who have lost their confidence and their minds. Republicans, on the other hand, are a smooth-running machine that just passed the biggest bill of its kind in the history of the country. It's a great bill, but unfortunately for Elon, it eliminates the ridiculous electric vehicle mandate, which could have forced everyone to buy an electric car in a short period of time. I've been strongly opposed to that from the very beginning. People are now allowed to buy whatever they want, gasoline-powered hybrids, which are doing well, or new technologies as they come about. No more EV mandate. I have campaigned on this for 2 years, and quite honestly, when Elon gave me his total and unquestioned endorsement, I asked him whether or not he knew I was going to terminate the EV mandate. It was in every speech I made, in every conversation I had. He said no problem with that. I was very surprised. Additionally, Elon asked one of his close friends to run NASA. Well, I thought his friend was very good. I was surprised to learn he was a blue-blooded Democrat who had never contributed to a Republican before. Elon probably was also. I also thought it inappropriate that a very close friend of Elon, who was in the space business, run NASA when NASA is such a big part of Elon's corporate life. My number one charge is to protect the American public. So, I mean, right off the bat, Trump is saying that Elon has just gone off the frickin' rails. And look, I got Elon Musk toys all over my desk. I got his SpaceX rockets. I got his Cybertruck here. You know, I love the innovation that he brings to the table. And I love science and technology. I love technology. You know, I love these things, and I love seeing what Elon's able to accomplish. But in the political realm, dude, just stay out of it. You know, I mean, what he did to support President Trump during the campaign, you can't deny the effectiveness there, but he was operating within the Republican Party, okay? He was operating within it. Here it is. James Fishback says, Elon, this is not a joke. A third party that hands power to the Democrats who will impeach Trump, defund ICE, and throw open the border will devastate this country. Unlike you, real Americans don't want to go to Mars. We want to save America. Yeah. Not Kenny Rogers, okay? He said this. People who have come out in support of Elon Musk's New America Party. Mark Cuban, deranged Democrat. Anthony Scaramucci, who was once Donald Trump's press secretary for like 5 days. Eventually just became a rabid Trump hater. Brian Krasenstein, who's another just online troll. Thomas Massey, who is a Republican libertarian, and Mike Pence. Now, I like Massey, but sometimes I think he's off base. But regardless, these are the people that have come out in supporting this party. I mean, look at Mike. If Mike Pence is a part of it, you could count me out 100%. Are the other names? I mean, that's the name I look at the most. Okay. Cuban, Scaramucci, Krasenstein, these are all givens, but Pence is the traitor among traitors after what he did in 2020. And here we have more from James Fishback. Elon's free to burn his own money on the ridiculous stunt that is the America Party. He's not free to drag shareholders down with him. Elon's a visionary. He needs to focus on Tesla, not on President Trump, who's been an extraordinary leader. Let's listen to James Fishback, who is the Azoria CEO on Bloomberg Tech, talking about this America Party and the dust-up between Trump and Elon.
This conversation with Mr. The truth is that when you have a full-time CEO in Elon Musk, who has been an extraordinary CEO, his time and energy needs to go to Tesla and synergistic companies like XAI or SpaceX. A political party, regardless of how I might feel or the president might feel about how ridiculous this stunt is, it does not help Tesla in any way, shape, or form. I wrote the Tesla board this weekend asking for one thing: clarity. Sit down with Elon Musk this week and clarify what his full-time obligation to Tesla will be in light of this new political party. If he cannot be Tesla's full-time CEO, the board needs to take that into account and needs to hold him accountable.
Has Tesla's board responded to your letter, James?
I have not heard back from Tesla's board yet. I'm confident that this week they are going to have this conversation with Mr. Musk. Let's just remind everyone listening, Elon Musk is free to burn his own money in a political party. He is not free to bring shareholders like us along with him. He does not own Tesla. We do. And if Elon Musk does not want to be the full-time CEO of Tesla, he should tell us now, because starting a new political party with the travel, the candidate recruitment, the training, and the organizing that comes with that is not a wise use of his time. Ed, he has been an extraordinary engineer and visionary leader for Tesla and for SpaceX. I have FSD in my car. I know you do as well. It is a magical technology. Robotaxi is... So you can already see it. Even Tesla shareholders are like, come on, dude. Why waste your time with this? It's just a pissing match between these two guys. Here is what Ron DeSantis had to say.
Final thing I'll say is, I've been getting asked about this idea of this Elon Musk political party. And I just want to say, I think Elon Musk has been, one of the most innovative entrepreneurs, not just in our country's history, but probably in world history. And I think he's done a lot. I think he's got a lot more left in the tank, obviously. I appreciated his efforts in the 2024 election. And I've been a big supporter of the idea of the Doge because the federal government's spending way too much money. We've adopted that in Florida, even though we have a budget surplus and are paying down debt. And we have the second lowest spending per capita of all 50 states, but yet we're still doing it in Florida because you always want to do better. But when Elon was in at Doge, there were grants that had been done that we rejected in Florida. We would call Elon, they would cancel it immediately. We sent over almost $1 billion to where they were able to recover. There were DEI, there was stuff we're not doing. And so there was a lot that was done that was very, very positive. And so I think I've been a big fan of what he's done. The problem is when you do another party, especially if you're running on some of the issues that he talks about, that would end up, if he funds Senate candidates and House candidates in competitive races, that would likely end up meaning the Democrats would win all the competitive Senate and House races. And so, look, I'm a Republican. I don't want to see that happen. I think if you want to, get involved and hold accountable, we do have a problem in the Republican Party with these D.C. congressmen. They always run saying there's out of control spending and they're going to spend less, and they never do it. And so there's a gap between the campaign rhetoric and then the performance. Elon was doing Doge, and a lot of Congress didn't want anything to do with actually adopting the Doge cuts, just like they haven't wanted to adopt the Trump executive orders on immigration and all these other things, which I think you have to adopt in law if you want them to have staying power. So I think there is a lot of frustration with the gap between the rhetoric in their district and the performance once they get into D.C. But the way you do that is expose that in a primary and show that there's another way forward. Honestly, if you're concerned about the debt, I wouldn't even worry about that because I don't think just electing a few better people is going to change the trajectory. We need the incentives in Washington are going to lead to these outcomes, really regardless of the outcome of elections at this point. So you need to do a balanced budget amendment to the U.S. Constitution, and you can do that through the states. You can do it through Article 5. We've got 28 states that have approved this. There's another 4 or 5 that are on the docket. Once you hit 34, then you write an amendment, and then the states are able to ratify that. You need 3/4. If Elon wanted to weigh in on that and work on those state legislatures, he would have a monumental impact on doing this. And we also need term limits for members of Congress. And so you can...
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, see, it's just not smart to put his money into a third party. There's other ways to achieve your goals without having to try to draw votes away from one of the major parties that eventually just helps out the opposite side. This was earlier today, the press secretary discussing the big, beautiful bill at the White House.
Into law. After the historic signing on the South Lawn of the White House on the 4th of July, President Trump's one big, beautiful bill is now the law of the land. Republicans in Congress met the once-in-a-generation moment and codified the Make America Great Again agenda into law. After this monumental achievement, no other president in modern history has worked harder and faster to fulfill their campaign promises than Donald Trump. The one big, beautiful bill will get the United States of America firing again on all cylinders. It's safe to say that over the past few weeks, the president has delivered on many, many wins. After the historic...
I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see, now that it's law, all of the claims that have been made, that we've been reporting on, finally come to fruition. Here's some more big wins that the press secretary went through today. Extraordinary wins on behalf of the American people in recent weeks.
700,000. For the 4th month in a row, jobs numbers beat market expectations with nearly 150,000 good jobs created in the month of June. The American economy has now added nearly 700,000 jobs since January 2025, with American-born workers accounting for all job gains. President Trump drove illegal border crossings to another historic low in the month of June, and Border Patrol once again released 0 illegal aliens into our country. The Supreme Court stopped activist judges from imposing nationwide injunctions and cleared the way for President Trump to carry out his popular and common sense agenda. The University of Pennsylvania agreed to all of the Trump administration's demands and will now keep men out of women's sports. President Trump secured his trade deal with Vietnam, giving the United States total access to their markets. Because of President Trump's unleashing American energy dominance, gas prices are at 4-year lows. And when adjusted for inflation, gas prices are near the lowest levels we've seen in the last 20 years. NATO members agreed to raise defense spending to 5% of GDP, a foreign policy feat long thought impossible until President Trump made it happen. The Operation Midnight Hammer obliterated Iran's nuclear capabilities, taking out this imminent national security threat not just to the United States, but to the entire world. The president secured a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, ending the 12-day war. The president brokered a historic peace agreement between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Pakistan nominated President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize in recognition of his decisive diplomatic intervention to prevent a nuclear war between India and Pakistan. Blue-collar wage growth has seen its largest increase in nearly 60 years, and President Trump has defeated Joe Biden's inflation crisis with core inflation at the lowest level since March of 2021. Wow. And just about all of that has happened in the last 3 weeks, and I know you all know it because you've been very busy here covering it along with us. For the 4th month in a row,
definitely cause for applause. It's huge, folks. This is a big deal. Taking a look at what the Treasury Secretary said. The common sense work requirements for able-bodied Americans to get Medicaid, which is in the big, beautiful bill. Now, everyone's saying...
You said people are going to die?
Because if the bill passes, right, that's what they've been saying.
You said people are going to die?
But that's not going to happen. It's about getting people off their ass who are able-bodied Americans who can work and getting them off the government dole.
Requirement is the president promised that there would not be changes to Medicaid benefits, and putting a work requirement is, by definition, a change to benefits.
No, there are no change in benefits. There's a change in requirements to get the benefits. And what we are doing, we are bringing back manufacturing jobs. We are bringing back working class jobs. By securing the border, we have already seen working class wages move up. So we are creating jobs. People can get off Medicaid and get a job that has good health care benefits. Dana.
The president promised that there...
You see how CNN tried to spin it? You're changing the benefits. No, we're just changing the requirements to get the benefits. CNN, right?
How dare you?
Always spinning it. Here we have more with Dana Bash and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent reminding her that Medicaid work requirements were popular under Bill Clinton.
Requirements are, I'm sure you've seen and heard a lot of the concern, including and especially from Republicans who are the most vocal in Congress about the fact that those work requirements are going to be very cumbersome to actually prove, and it will...
The work requirements are going to be cumbersome. Oh, no. Getting off your couch is going to be cumbersome. Come on, Dana.
Inevitably force the people who need that Medicaid coverage off the rolls.
Well, first of all, the Republicans are not the most vocal on this. It is a group of Democrats who, unfortunately, seem to think that poor people are stupid. I don't think poor people are stupid. I think they have agency, and I think to have them register twice a year for these benefits, that it is not a burden. But these people who want to infantilize the poor and those who need these Medicaid benefits are alarmist.
Yeah, but my impression of the Republican Party is that historically you've wanted to cut through the red tape and not create more red tape. But I do want to move on because...
Well, no. But we've also wanted to put in work requirements, which somehow that was very popular under Bill Clinton, was popular under President Obama, and this Democratic Party blew out the deficit in 2020, and they never want to bring it back. But work requirements even poll well with the median Democratic voter, maybe not the fringe.
I'm sure you've seen.
And that's where Dana Bash likes to hang out with, on the fringe. Continuing right along here, we got some more here. Here is the Speaker of the House on Fox News Sunday discussing what this bill did.
Lower and middle, they are overlooking the actual facts. All that is nonsense. Shannon, what we did in this bill is we made permanent the 2017 Trump's tax cuts, and that was geared for lower and middle class Americans, in spite of everything they said. The bottom 20% of earners saw their lowest federal tax rate in 40 years. Now we're building upon that. We just made that permanent, and we're building upon it because now we cut tax on overtime and tips and had more tax relief for seniors. And we're giving everybody a tax cut. And that's going to help the economy. It's going to be jet fuel. Small business owners, entrepreneurs, risk takers, the people that provide the jobs, manufacturers, farmers get assistance here, and that will lift the economy. The Council of Joint Economic Advisors is expecting a 3% growth rate in the economy. That will be incredible. They're expecting 4 million additional jobs to be added. The average American, the typical American household, will have $13,000 more in take-home pay. This is a great thing for people who go to work every day. They're going to feel that, and we're excited about the upcoming election cycle in 26 because people will be riding an economic high just as we did after the first 2 years of the first Trump administration. This time
it is permanent. Yeah, baby. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, this isn't just about tax cuts or job numbers. This is about the establishment's death rattle. Trump delivers 40 million families expanded child tax credits, permanent tax relief, and the lowest rates in 4 decades for working Americans. And suddenly, Elon wants a third party. With supporters like Cuban, Scaramucci, and Pence? Please. Now, James Fishback, he nailed it. He said the stunt would hand power to Democrats who will impeach Trump, defund ICE, and open the borders again. Real Americans don't want to escape to Mars. We want to save Earth. And the One Big Beautiful Bill proves that the MAGA movement doesn't need saving. It needs protecting from billionaire egos and establishment saboteurs. Now, Trump recognized you reform from within, not by splitting the vote. Elon's polling at 4% for a reason. So here's my question for you. Is Musk's America Party a genuine movement, or is it establishment sabotage? Drop your answer below. And you can support real change by going to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Our Alligator Alcatraz shirt, our President Otto Pence shirt, and our American Badass series has just dropped. So go over there, check it out. Maybe you'll find something you like and trigger a liberal today at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay, so where are we at now? Any super chats? No super chats yet. Okay, that's odd. But we do have a lot of people in the chat room. Numbers looking good today. Great job, Gary, says Karen. Thank you so much. John Doe said, Trump said no tax on Social Security, just like Epstein. What? I'm not sure about that one. I don't know of Epstein's political points. A third party won't work, says Wyatt Earp. Bruce is like, I have no idea what Musk is up to. Yeah. The one and only Ron the Don says sabotage. Either way, not needed, says Pothead Kenny. Savvy says it's optics. Duty to Rebel says they're stealing from Americans in sanctuary cities. I agree. Brian Cup says Elon's on an ego trip. Yeah. This time it's concrete, right, Jeanette? Yep. Avalex LLC. When I turn 80, I'm going to stop paying taxes anyway. All right, let's take a look and see where we're at with the trivia answer. You guys got it right. It was, in fact, 1913 and the 16th Amendment of Congress, the power to tax income forever changing American fiscal policy and enslaving the American people. Yeah, taxation is theft, and it's time. I mean, what happened to the External Revenue Service? Whatever happened to that? Remember, they were talking about getting rid of it, getting rid of the IRS? Well, one can dream, I suppose. But we have another trivia question for you now as we move into our next topic. Which 1882 law was America's first major federal immigration restriction? 1882 law was America's first major federal immigration restriction. Well. We have A, the Chinese Exclusion Act, B, the National Origins Act, C, the Alien Contract Labor Law, or D, the Immigration Act. 1882? Federal immigration restriction? I have no idea. This is one of those moments where I'm going to take a dart and just throw it and take a guess. Maybe it's the National Origins Act. I've never heard of the Chinese Exclusion Act. That seems like something I would have heard about, especially with all the stuff going on with China. Yeah, I'm going to go with B. I'm going with B. Not sure where you guys are going. You guys are already up on A. You guys are saying it's a Chinese Exclusion Act. We're going to find out real soon after this next segment. So, a radical leftist in tactical gear just opened fire on American law enforcement. But that's not even the most shocking part. What happened next reveals a coordinated campaign of violence that's spiraling out of control. 700%. That is not a typo. That is how much attacks on our border defenders have skyrocketed. We've been covering it. It was at 200, then it was 400, now it's 700. And while brave agents literally are dodging bullets to protect our sovereignty, certain politicians, they can't even hold back. They're calling them Nazis. They love to do it, and they're refusing to condemn the violence. The administration, however, just dropped the hammer with an ultimatum that has sanctuary cities panicking. The gloves are off. The wall is going up, and what's happening at the border right now will determine the future of this nation. So keep on watching. Now, speaking of defending America, have you seen what Chuck Norris is doing at 84? While our border agents face unprecedented attacks, this American legend is still training, still fighting, and still defending what matters. I'm proud to call him a sponsor of the program. Now, he discovered 3 things that sabotage our bodies as we age. And by addressing just one of them, he says he feels like he's in his 50s again. His wife started doing it. She's leaner, stronger, has energy all day. Just like our brave ICE agents need every advantage to protect our borders, you need every advantage to protect your health. And Chuck made a special video just for you revealing his method. You can watch it for free at chuckdefense.com/next, or simply click the link below this video. Because whether it's securing our borders or securing our health, America doesn't back down from a fight. Now, we're going to jump into this topic here and find out what exactly is going on with the ICE agents. Now, did you see this earlier today? Mayor Karen Bass, this is helicopter video, Fox News Now. You can look how far away the helicopter is and watch him zoom in. This is Mayor Karen Bass. She went to MacArthur Park and tried to tell the federal authorities to get out. She was immediately swarmed by the media and ran back to her vehicle. So she's right out there in the middle of it, trying to stop federal. The mayor of Los Angeles. Listen in.
See if we can hear anything. This is a live look from the helicopter, so it is unlikely, but let's just try.
This is where we are. This is really the altitude where we're at. This is the 2X. This is just the glass. And then when I hit the digital doubler, we lose resolution.
Now, there you can see that gaggle right there, Mayor Karen Bass, right in the middle. And what you're going to see in a moment, now, right, it looks like she's next to one of the federal vehicles, the white box vehicle on the right side of your screen. And at the base of your screen, you can see the federal agents that she's trying to stop. Now, off to the left, you might see it when it pans out, when it pulls out, is where Karen Bass, her motorcade is sitting waiting, and she flees and runs off to it.
All right. Yeah, that's the digital doubler. That's what you're seeing. You're cutting the resolution down.
Now you can see Karen Bass right in the middle of that media gaggle, right there on the street. Absolutely ridiculous. Out there trying to stop federal agents from doing their job, protecting the people of L.A.
And that actually, according to the machine, is sharp.
So we are hearing from the helicopter operator right there, and it does sound like he is answering some questions that we don't hear. But this is some breaking news out of Los Angeles as a federal immigration enforcement operation is currently underway. You see a large crowd right there. L.A. Mayor Karen Bass is at the center of this large crowd. As you can see, some of the tankers right there on the street in L.A. And according to Fox News correspondent Bill Malugin, this is an operation in the MacArthur Park area of L.A., an area that he says has a heavy MS-13 influence. Mayor Bass right there demanding that the raids stop. And you can see that it's getting a...
I mean, just listen to this reporter. MS-13 raid. The MS-13, heavy presence in the area. What does Mayor Karen Bass do? She goes out to defend them so they can stay on the streets and impeding federal law enforcement from doing their frickin' job. Unbelievable.
A little physical right there as the crowd is kind of pushing towards this police vehicle. You can also see on the right-hand side of your screen some of...
Now, you just saw her get in the vehicle in that green-colored blazer.
These federal agents in their gear right there with their helmets on, with their vests. So it does appear perhaps that Mayor Bass is getting into this vehicle as she was surrounded by the media as well as a number of individuals. So, we haven't heard yet whether she plans to make a statement or not, but this is coming in to our Live Now from Fox Studios. As you can see, the armored tank right there with some of the military and federal agents as they have boarded this. This is all part of an immigration enforcement operation happening right now in L.A. We have been covering this issue for weeks.
How ridiculous is that, right? Well, let's take a look at what happened in the press room today. The press secretary answering a question from Brian Glenn of Newsmax. It looks like on TPS, temporary protected status.
By definition, it is. Well, I won't get ahead of the Department of Homeland Security on additional countries, but as you pointed out, they did end temporary protective status for Nicaraguans and Hondurans in this country because TPS, temporary protective status, is temporary by definition. It is not meant to be a permanent path to residency or citizenship here in the United States of America. It was originally granted to Nicaraguans following a natural disaster in 1999. That doesn't sound very temporary to me. And as well as Hondurans in 1999 after the impact of Hurricane Mitch in 1998.
1999. They've had temporary protected status since then. Okay. What year is it? It's 26 years later? And they're finally getting rid of temporary protected status?
And so this administration is doing what it promised to do. And if individuals from these countries want to come here, they have a legal pathway to do it. But temporary protective status was never meant to be permanent. The previous administration abused this status and this parole program, essentially treating it as such. And we're not going to tolerate that any further.
Thank God. Let's keep going here. We have more from the press secretary today talking about the shooting at the Border Patrol facility in McAllen, Texas.
Comes just days. An armed shooter today was shot in McAllen, Texas, after opening fire on Border Patrol agents. Comes just days after Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal recently said she gets, quote, inspired when activists obstruct ICE. Does the White House expect Democrats to tone down their rhetoric in light of what we saw today in McAllen, Texas?
We certainly call on Democrats to tone down their rhetoric against ICE and Border Patrol agents who, again, are everyday men and women. I would encourage AOC and other Democrats to actually meet with the United States Border Patrol. These are honorable Americans who are just simply trying to do their job to enforce the law. They go home to their families every night just like we all do, and they deserve respect and dignity for trying to enforce our nation's immigration laws and to remove public safety threats from our communities. The White House is aware of the shooting that took place today in Texas, and we are working with the appropriate federal agencies to get to the bottom of what happened.
An armed shooter today was shot.
McAllen, Texas, armed shooter. Of course, we have violent rhetoric just constantly pouring from the left, celebrating these people. Here we have this just 6 hours ago from Homeland Security. Under the leadership of POTUS, Trump and Secretary Noem, ICE has been empowered to enforce the law and put the safety of Americans first. If you're in this country illegally, leave now and self-deport using the CBP Home app. If you don't, you'll face the consequences. And Department of Homeland Security apparently quote tweeting Rapid Response, which is the official White House response Twitter account, who posted a video of Hakeem Jeffries, extremist Hakeem Jeffries, on The View. Of course, a nice safe space for him to spout his hateful rhetoric.
Now, some Democrats, amid the criticisms of ICE right now due to these ICE raids, have started calling for defunding ICE. Do you think that's effective going into the midterms, and do you support those calls?
Well, I definitely think that, we need aggressive oversight as it relates to the overly aggressive behavior that we've seen, from ICE, from the Department of Homeland Security. It's not what the American people actually, in my view, voted for. Donald Trump and Republicans promised to go after violent felons.
We did vote for it, by the way.
But instead, they're going after law-abiding immigrant families. And in fact, in some cases, deporting American citizens and children.
Okay, so what he's referring to there was an instance where there was illegal immigrant parents, and they had given birth to children on American soil, so therefore their children, anchor babies, are American citizens. So ICE gave them the opportunity. You can either leave your children with a relative, or you can take them with you. And the parents decided to take their children with them and to be deported with them. So when he says they're deporting American citizens, that's what he's referring to. So he's twisting the law. He's twisting the actual the moment. He's twisting it. Yeah. Thanks, Hakeem. We'll call you out when we have to. Here's Senator Mullen. First of all, what we're going to do is complete the wall. I believe he's talking about the big, beautiful bill and the new funding that's inside it.
And thanks for having me.
Explain to us how that money is going to be used and what the military can do in support of that mission to close down the border.
Yeah, well, Jason, thank you, and thanks for having me on. Look, first of all, what we're going to do is actually complete the wall. The last time that President Trump started the wall, obviously you saw the Biden administration come in and just wreak havoc on it and sell the material at pennies on the dollar. So the first thing we're doing is we're actually putting this into law by putting $46 billion to finally complete the wall all the way across our southern border. The Marines' job is going to be there simply combating the cartels. They're not going to be arresting people. They're not going to be detaining people other than just backing up our Border Patrol because literally, unfortunately, the cartels are well funded and they have military weapons. They have military training. They have military vehicles that are on the border that that's actually outgunning and outmanning our Border Patrol. So they are a secondary force to prevent the cartels from coming in. At the same time, our Border Patrol is being plussed up. The immigration, a whole line of detainees to ICE, to the border, to the judges, to our immigration centers. They're all being plussed up, fully funded. And what it is a full deterrence. You saw last month, the numbers of June came out, zero illegals were allowed to enter our country illegally. That is astounding compared to what we've been having the last 4 years.
Explain to us.
Yeah, those are numbers we need to celebrate for sure. Here is the Treasury Secretary. He said for years, working class Americans were told that unchecked immigration did not hurt their wages. That was false. Here he is on Fox News Sunday.
was that what we saw was this mass unfettered immigration across the border, whether it's 12 or 22 million people who came in, suppressed working people's wages. And for 20 years, the big lie was that this kind of immigration didn't hurt working people. Now, economists have come out and said, oh, what a surprise. Even the laws of supply and demand work in the low-end labor market. So I talk about in that editorial what I call parallel prosperity, that for years Wall Street has done well. Now it's time for Main Street to do well, and they can both do well. And that's the one big beautiful bill. That's the beauty of this. It helps Wall Street and Main Street. What we saw.
Parallel prosperity. I want to see it in action. I think we're going to see it soon. Here we have Representative Riley Moore. Ever since President Trump came down the golden escalator 10 years ago, he's talked about securing our nation and reclaiming our sovereignty. On July 4th, we did it.
State is ever since President Trump came down the golden escalator, what has he talked about? Securing our nation and reclaiming our sovereignty. Any nation state is defined by sovereignty. How is sovereignty defined? Defensible borders. And on July 4th, President Trump reclaimed our sovereignty in this country. We are going to finish the wall with this. We're going to have 700 miles of primary wall, 629 miles of additional border security and barriers in there, and then 900 miles of river barriers as well. And then don't let me forget here, with 10,000 additional ICE personnel. We're going to have 5,000 new custom officers. And then additional to that, 3,000 Border Patrol agents are going to be also added. ICE is actually going to be larger than several militaries in the world now, and we're finally going to be able to secure our border. And don't forget that the northern border is also an issue as well, so there's going to be resources that are going to be put up there. As we put the squeeze on the cartels down south, they're starting to push fentanyl now through the northern border as well.
Yep, they're always going to find a way to get around it going north. What do we have here? U.S. Immigration and Customs. This criminal alien exercised his right to remain loud and aggressive. Honduran national Fernando de Jesus Alvarado criminal record began in 2022 when he was convicted twice on drug charges for which he spent 6 months in jail.
Some cases.
What has prevented you from getting your legal status in that 20
I'm
years?
currently working within my legal status. My legal status, I have updated my application and I'm waiting for my legal status to change.
Have you committed any crimes?
I have some cases pending, but you also told me to go back to Honduras, did you not?
I said if the judge decides
No. Right before you left the car.
Going to go back.
Be a man. Right before, right before you left that car, you said go back to Honduras, didn't you? Yeah. And I tell the truth. I don't sit here and lie. Yeah, under a badge, phony
You've been very uncooperative the whole time.
Uncooperative? I'm not fighting you, and I've done nothing. What? Okay. Say it.
You resisted the whole time.
Anybody? Sir? No. Do you have a name, badge number?
Yeah, my name.
What's your badge number, sir? Okay. Anybody else can produce their badge number? No?
One-way ticket back to the Honduras. Yeah, maybe should have committed those crimes while you're hanging out in America. Here we have the border czar talking about doubling down and tripling down against sanctuary cities.
To work around.
This is a gaggle at the White House earlier today.
Zoran Mondani, the likely next mayor of New York City's promised not to cooperate with you or with ICE or with deportations of any kind. Do you have a plan? Is there a plan to work around that? How are you going to handle it?
Feel like I'm at, we're going to be in New York City, and President Trump said it 2 weeks ago. We're going to double down and triple down in sanctuary cities. Why? Not because they're a blue city or blue state, because we know that's where the problem is. We know they're releasing public safety threats and national security threats to the streets every day because they don't honor our detainees. We know that. We don't have that problem like in Florida, where every sheriff in the state's working with us. So where we're going to send our assets, we're going to send them where the problem is. Sanctuary cities. So I've said it before. We'll flood the zone with sanctuary cities.
Flood the zone. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is what happens when you demonize law enforcement. When Hakeem Jeffries refuses to condemn defunding ICE. When senators compare border agents to Nazis. When sanctuary cities release violent criminals back onto our streets. You got a 700% increase in attacks on the very people protecting us from chaos. Today's shooting in McAllen, Texas wasn't random. It was the inevitable result of Democrat rhetoric that paints our protectors as villains. But here's what they don't want you to know. ICE just got its first major funding increase in decades. $46 billion is now locked in for the wall, and every illegal alien just got a clear message. Leave now or face arrest. The days of catch and release are over, so here's my question for you. Should sanctuary city officials face federal charges for harboring criminals? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see some of those illegals sent down to Alligator Alcatraz, support the effort by going to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. We just launched our Alligator Alcatraz No Escape shirt. And, of course, our famous President Otto Pen t-shirt, which was actually viewer-inspired by one of you guys in the comments. I'm like, we're going to make that a t-shirt. So thanks for that idea. You can check it all out and trigger a liberal at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. You'll find it linked in the description below. Okay, well now, we do have a couple super chats, and then we're going to get to the answer for our trivia question. Super chats coming in. We got Wyatt Earp dropping 10. Let's get some money in that jar. Thank you. It's for a brother. Thank you, Wyatt Earp. Putting $10 in that jar. First $10, Wyatt Earp. Thank you. Breaking the seal. Tom B for 20. One of our regular fans and supporters. Thanks, Gary N3 for life. Let the salt flow. $10. So we are now at $20 in the Alex Jones Was Right jar. You guys know what to do. You want to see this jar filled up, just hit that button next to the chat, little $sign. You can send a message. We will present your message to all the viewers who are watching. But before we get to that, next, we don't have any more super chats to speak of at the moment, but we do have a trivia answer for you now. Let's see. Oh, it was the Chinese Exclusion Act. Just to be clear, that sad trumpet was for me because I got it wrong, but you guys got it right. The Chinese Exclusion Act, it banned Chinese laborers and proved that Congress could control who enters America. Well, what do you know? Okay, we've got some more news to get to. Don't go anywhere. We're not done yet because we have another trivia question for you. Which 1927 flood disaster led to federal flood control becoming a national priority? Was it A, Johnstown flood, B, the Great Mississippi Flood, the C, Galveston Hurricane, or D, Ohio River Flood? I have no idea. That's another one. I don't know. I'm going to go with maybe the Great Mississippi Flood. I mean, Galveston Hurricane, that was pretty bad. That was really bad. I mean, I remember learning about that one, man. The visuals were that crazy. But I'm going to say Mississippi because it's river-based. Okay. We're going to find out after this. They're dancing on the graves before the water even recedes. While Texas families pull bodies from the mud and emergency crews work around the clock, the radical left found a way to make this tragedy about race, deportations, and their sick political agenda. And one viral video, so vile, so disgusting, it'll make your blood boil. But here's what they don't want you to know. The National Weather Service was fully staffed. Warnings went out days in advance, and the federal response was immediate. Yet somehow they're blaming Trump. The real story of what happened in those early morning hours, who knew what and when, will expose a propaganda machine that has no shame and no soul. Don't look away. Just as Texas rebuilds from devastating floods, our bodies need to rebuild from daily damage. By our 40s, collagen levels drop dramatically, affecting skin, joint, and overall resilience. That's why I use Ageless Multi-Collagen. It contains 5 key types of collagen from 4 premium sources, all hydrolyzed for easy absorption, no clumping, no odor, just smooth blending into your morning routine. While some exploit tragedy for clicks, BioTrust actually helps. Every order feeds hungry children through NoKidHungry.org with a goal of 6 million meals. Just like Texas showed its strength in crisis, you can strengthen your body naturally. No GMOs, no artificial ingredients, just clean support. Visit healthwithgary.com for 51% off, free shipping, and a 60-day guarantee. Because whether facing floods or Father Time, Americans rebuild stronger together. Now, let's find out what is going on here. We have the press secretary just a few hours ago weighing in on this national tragedy in Texas.
They gave out, this is a national tragedy, and the administration is treating it as such. We know the National Weather Service provided early and consistent warnings. They gave out timely flash flood alerts. There were record-breaking lead times in the lead up to this catastrophe. There is ongoing flood monitoring, and these offices were well staffed. In fact, one of the offices was actually overstaffed. They had more people than they need. So any claim to the contrary is completely false. And it's just sad that people are pushing these lies. This is a national tragedy.
And that's what they do. They push lies to push their agenda. Here we have more from the press secretary dispelling the fake news around the National Weather Service staffing in the wake of the weekend's devastating Texas flooding.
Kristen, and what
are there concerns with the White House or from the president himself over the cuts that happened under Musk while he was advising DOGE, including the National Weather Service?
I think I've already addressed that, Kristen, and what I can tell you is that these offices were fully staffed. The San Angelo office was fully staffed with 12 forecast meteorologists. There were no vacancies. The San Antonio office was operating with 11 forecasters. And as Brian said, the union themselves said that there was adequate staffing. So I think those words speak for themselves and the numbers speak for themselves. This was a once-in-a-century flash flood, a tragic natural disaster, and the administration is doing all that we can on the ground to help these families during this time of need.
Are there concerns?
Let's keep going. We have more from the press secretary today. The flood hit in the very early hours of the morning.
Very early hours of. Well, the alerts imminently were sent out before the flood when people were sleeping because the flood hit in the very early hours of the morning. So people were sleeping in the middle of the night when this flood came. That was an act of God. It's not the administration's fault that the flood hit when it did. But there were early and consistent warnings. And again, the National Weather Service did its job. On July 2nd, there were initial notices of potential weather and flooding risks were issued. On July 3rd, escalating warnings throughout the day with a flood watch issued at 1:18 p.m. And then later at 6:10 p.m. on July 3rd, the Weather Prediction Center warned of excessive rainfall and a high likelihood of flash flooding. At 6:22 p.m. July 3rd, National Weather Center issued a hydraulic warning highlighting considerable flooding risks, including in Carnival County. And then there were the timely flash flood alerts at 11:41 p.m., 1:14 a.m., and then another flash flood emergency warning issued at 4:03 a.m. just before the flood hit. So those were all of the warnings that went out to the affected area and region. Well, flash flood. I want to start by addressing the devastation from the tragic flash floods in Texas. Moments ago, the Department of Homeland Security provided an update that 91 innocent souls have now perished. Everyone here at the White House, including the President of the United States, is praying for the victims' families and friends during this unimaginable time. President Trump swiftly signed a major disaster declaration for Kerr County, Texas, to ensure our heroic first responders have every resource they need in the relief and recovery efforts. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem traveled to Texas over the weekend, and the entire Trump administration is working hand in glove with state and local officials to provide every assistance available. The situation on the ground remains dangerous, and there could be additional public safety threats with potential incoming heavy rain. So we encourage everyone in the area to remain vigilant, listen to all warnings, and respond accordingly. Unfortunately, in the wake of this once-in-a-generation natural disaster, we have seen many falsehoods pushed by Democrats such as Senator Chuck Schumer and some members of the media. Blaming President Trump for these floods is a depraved lie, and it serves no purpose during this time of national mourning. Here are the facts. In the lead up to this tragic natural disaster, the National Weather Service did its job. Despite unprecedented rainfall, the National Weather Service executed timely and precise forecasts and warnings. On July 3rd, the National Weather Service office in Austin, San Antonio, Texas, conducted forecast briefings for emergency management in the morning and issued a flood watch in the early afternoon. Flash flood warnings were also issued on the night of July 3rd and in the early morning of July 4th, giving preliminary lead times of more than 3 hours before flash flooding conditions occurred. And the National Weather Service office in New Braunfels, which delivers forecasts for Austin, San Antonio, and the surrounding areas, had extra staff on duty during the storms, despite claims of the contrary. So
they had these alarms going off while most people were sleeping. And that's why they didn't get the alarms. And here we have libs of TikTok. Oh, goodness. TikToker says young girls died in the Texas flood because of racism and because illegals are being deported. Wow.
YT people will have to DIE in order for motherfuckers to what? I'm going to say it because y'all scary as fuck and I don't give a damn. Them little girls, them people died because of racism, not politics. Boom, I said it. I don't give a fuck. And am I sad? No. Nope. Because more YT people will have to DIE in order for motherfuckers to what? CARE. I said what the fuck I said. I don't give a fuck and minds are here with me.
Okay, enough of her. Total trash. This is apparently what they're calling the best video of the flooding in Texas. I don't even know how you can call it the best, but we'll take a look and see for yourself.
Back up. Girl, back up.
Wow.
Get over here, too. That's a craft already 4 foot. Okay, let's go back. Juanita. Wow. Juanita, move back.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be just standing there pointing. I mean, you're staring death right in the face. I mean, the state trooper is standing there filming it all. You have civilians standing there watching it all unfold. I mean, if I was that state trooper, I would be like, get out now. Evacuate. It's not time for taking YouTube videos.
Come back further. Close the road down for me.
Holy crap. Wait up.
The best video, they claim, right there. Here we have, this is 8 hours ago, Kerr County Sheriff delivers heartbreaking update on Texas flood. The White House just said 91. At the time of this report, 75 dead, including 27 children. Oh, man.
We recovered 70 are ongoing throughout Kerr County. We're using assets from local, state, and national first responders. Hundreds of trained first responders are working every aspect of this emergency. As of 8:30 this morning, we recovered 75 deceased bodies here in Kerr County, including 48 adults and 27 children. Of this 48 adults and 27 children, 15 adults and 9 children are pending identification. At present, there are 10 campers from Camp Mystic unaccounted for and 1 counselor. We continue to offer our condolences to those affected. Reuniting the families remain our top priority here on this operation. Please note that Highway 39 of an Old Ingram Loop remains closed to the public. Other than those who live in that area would not be allowed out there.
Absolutely heartbreaking tragedy unfolding in Texas. And, of course, you have people like this woman here spewing vile, vile things, heartless, godless, soulless things about those children. I mean, you can look at the evil in her face. I mean, look at the evil in her face. I mean, what are those things on her cheeks? Radio antennas? I mean, this woman is just pure freaking evil, man. Let's take a look. Secretary Noem weighing in about 11 hours ago on the flooding.
The governor and the emergency. Well, this is a horrific situation, Lawrence. I mean, you're seeing it firsthand today. I was there on Saturday and spent my time with the governor and the emergency management responders and a lot of the families that have been impacted. Some of the parents of those kiddos at Camp Mystic as well. It was absolutely devastating. So we responded immediately as soon as the request came in with Coast Guard assets, with Customs and Border Protection assets that were specially trained for these kind of rescue missions. Also, FEMA has been activated and at an enhanced level. The partnership between the federal government and the state and those local officials is very tight and working hard to make sure that we're bringing some relief to these families and finding people and reuniting people with victims of this flood as soon as possible. But it is, make no mistake, how tragic the situation is. And the president is fully engaged and willing to do all that he can to help the people of Texas through this because it is a national situation that everybody's hearts are just broken over.
But the left would go ahead and politicize this at every opportunity they can. Here we have more. Heartbreaking to see people laughing and recording, unaware of the extreme danger.
You do? They said it's coming.
I see it rushing.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here it comes.
Should we run?
Yeah, let's not play. Come on.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. Mom, hurry. It's coming. Look, it's all wet. It's all water all up in there.
Look at, there's water behind him too.
Get out of the way, baby. You see it coming?
And at least he didn't spill his beer. I mean, the fact that, first of all, people are out there filming this. Of course, their own curiosity is going to get the best of them. They're going to want to see it for themselves. Natural disasters and these types of things. You know, even when the tornado sirens go off around here, I love to go look at the weather, and I'm monitoring it very closely. We've had tornadoes come very close to where I'm sitting, but I understand it. But at the same time, when you have something that is this definitive right there in front of you, and people are just like running at it with a camera, it's just silly. But what's even worse is that you have the left politicizing this, claiming that Doge cuts are what caused this. And that's why people are dead, because Elon Musk cut back on the weather service. And you just heard the White House at the beginning of this report pushing back on all those leftist claims. So say a prayer for these families and, of course, for all the first responders out there, that they can, get this under control. Supposedly there's more flash flood warnings in effect. So if you're in those areas, please seek shelter effectively and just be safe out there. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is how low they've sunk. Young girls die in a natural disaster, and before their families can even grieve, the left weaponizes their deaths for political points. As you saw, that one TikToker actually said that more white people need to die for anyone to care. I mean, think about that level of evil. The truth? San Angelo had 12 meteorologists on duty. San Antonio had 11. Warnings went out July 2nd, intensified July 3rd. The flood hit in the early morning hours, and every protocol was, in fact, followed. Every warning was issued. The Trump administration treated it as a national tragedy that it was. No politics, just action. But the race baiters and the Trump haters could not help themselves. They had to lie, had to divide, had to exploit dead children for their own narrative. So here's the question. Should social media platforms, should they ban users who exploit natural disasters for racial division? Or is that simply free speech? Comment below. And you can support Real American Values by going to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay, no super chats to currently speak of. Let's see what you guys are saying about this. Our Boyd is missing. What? That was 2 hours ago. Test, test, test. We hear you, Robert Lockhart. We hear you loud and clear. Wyatt Earp will be right back. Yes, Gary, that speech is horrifying, wasn't it, though, Mega? JC. Mama Kalish. Massive layoffs at weather warning agencies last year. This is Mama Cash. Kibbs Ellis, OMG. She will get her karma. No one will ever forget her words. And those were some disgusting words. Michael Jones says, the left are disgusting and evil creatures. John Gardner, those White House reports, such shite, should be prosecuted, right? CNN and MSM. It won't happen to me, said the Lens. Shelter ain't going to help you seek higher ground. That's exactly right. Tom B420 just gifted 5 Next News Network memberships. Thank you, Tom B420, for that. The left are making jokes about it. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Okay, let's go to our trivia answer. and it was the Great Mississippi Flood. It displaced 700,000 people and forever changed federal disaster response policy. That's what I said, too, so I get a little applause. Thank you very much. Well done, guys. You guys are doing well tonight. But what's not doing well is the DOJ. We're going to get to what's going on with the Epstein list in just a moment. But first, our trivia question. Which intelligence agency was caught running MK Ultra mind control experiments until 1973? A, FBI, B, NSA, C, the CIA, or D, the DIA? Well, I'm going to go with the CIA on this one. And I think most of our viewers are going to get this one correct. You guys are very smart. You guys know about MK Ultra. And we'll put the poll up. Thank you, Todd. And you can cast your vote in the poll in the comments or the chat room. Okay. Let's move on to our next story of the evening. It's making a lot of news right now. And just a second before we do that, we're going to reboot our camera. And as that system gets back online, we're going to get this story started. Irving dropping $17.70. He says CIA. Yeah. So since we do have a super chat jar open and available, we're just going to round it up to 20 for you, Irving. Thank you. 1776 CIA. That's what he says. What do you know, Brian? I was thinking we were going to go through at least one show without having the camera fail. But certainly did. I thought too soon. All right. Hopefully that won't happen again. All right. Let's get this next topic going. They made one mistake, one catastrophic, unforgivable mistake. And now the whole cover-up is unraveling. The DOJ just released Jeffrey Epstein's final surveillance footage, claiming that it proves what he did in that cell to himself. But eagle-eyed viewers caught something the feds never expected anyone to see. And it's right there on the screen, plain as day, and it changes everything. A full 60 seconds vanished from the footage. Foreign intelligence connections now confirmed, a client list that exists but will never see daylight. And now we know why Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for trafficking children to nobody. The evidence is so damning and so obvious that even the mainstream media can't ignore it. And what you're about to see will shake your faith in every institution. So brace yourself for what comes next. Just as the Epstein network operated in the shadows, there's another crisis happening in plain sight. Our bee populations are collapsing. Without bees, our natural food chain breaks down. No pollination means no crops, no food security, and no future. That's why Patriot Bee Best created an educational digest to spread awareness about this critical issue. For less than 17 cents a day, you can support both this show and American Bee Restoration. These aren't just environmental activists. They're American veterans laser focused on preserving both our bee population and our republic. Just like exposing the Epstein cover-up protects our children, protecting bees safeguards our food supply. Visit patriotbeebest.com to subscribe or to donate. You can join the hive and catch the buzz and help ensure America's agricultural independence. Because whether it's intelligence operations or ecosystem collapse, we cannot afford the warning signs. The link's in the description, patriotbeebest.com. So, you guys may have seen the DOJ's letter that was published over the weekend. Well, here's the footage. We posted this on our X account, and it is clear as day. The DOJ's Epstein prison video, which shows an editing menu on the screen until exactly 12 o'clock a.m., when it vanishes, and like clockwork, 1 full minute of footage is missing from 11 o'clock, 11:58 and 58 seconds to 12 o'clock. A whole minute. So where is the lost minute and what happened during that time? I'm going to pull it up full screen for you so you can see it. You can see the edit for yourself. It's clear as day. So now watch. Now you can't see the time code. I'll put the you can see the time code there on the screen. 11:58, 58, and then boom, it just jumps. I mean, I downloaded the footage for myself. I watched it, I saw it, and I saw the jump. I said, "Holy cow." They're going to go ahead and put out this video. And at the top of the screen, see that little gray box? It's an editing dialogue. Something that goes on the screen. I'm not sure why it's there. You know, is there a logical explanation for an entire minute missing? Now, the DOJ said that they had to enhance the video and they did some kind of special stuff to it. Maybe that's their excuse. But what could have happened in that minute of video? Anyone could have ran up those stairs and right into door 46. I believe that's the door that leads to Epstein's cell area. What happened there? What happened in that 1 minute of footage? We need some serious answers to that. Now, here's what's wild. Epstein was Israeli intelligence. Epstein met with CIA Director William Burns and Barack Obama's top lawyer, Catherine Rummler, over 12 times. It's been confirmed that Epstein was Mossad and CIA intelligence blackmailing elites and politicians for Israel. These are not my words. This is Jesse Waters saying it on Fox News. So it all makes sense. It all makes perfect sense. Did you know that the Prime Minister of Israel was just in the United States? In fact, I got the talking schedule from the White House. He was just here. And then this happens? I mean, make no mistake. You get a telephone call. Hey, make sure, Mr. Trump, let's not let this intelligence program get out. Make sure we keep all the blackmail in place for all these people so we can continue to control them. Remember they said they were going to give us the list? I mean, they carted out conservative influencers holding binders and said, here it is, but there was nothing in there. It was all a photo op. It was basically, the whole thing was a freaking psyop. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, they all said, Pam Bondi said she had the list on her desk. But what? Now suddenly nothing? It's because this was an intelligence operation from the very beginning. And if they're going to go ahead and start prosecuting all these people, mark my words, it's on the left, it's on the right, they're all in on it. So they need to keep everyone in check. Thousands of hours of video from Epstein's estates, photographs of all these victims, but yet there's not one person that they can indict. Well, there's a reason. They want to keep the blackmail operation moving forward. Because if they've got those tapes, they can continue to keep all these politicians in line all over the world. Jesse Waters right here saying it was Mossad, that Jeffrey Epstein was Mossad on Fox frickin' News.
Other than the 4 years since billionaire pedophile Jeffrey Epstein was arrested. So why do we still know nothing about him? Well, we're finding out tonight some answers. The Wall Street Journal just got its hands on Jeffrey Epstein's private calendar. And it was a lot more suspicious than Brett Kavanaugh's. Epstein was meeting with the kind of people you'd think would steer clear of a convicted pedophile. Jeffrey Epstein was meeting with one of Barack Obama's top lawyers, Catherine Rummler. She met with Epstein dozens of times. Epstein even tried to set up Obama's lawyer to work for Bill Gates. How is Jeffrey Epstein a fixer between Obama's lawyer and Bill Gates? Epstein was also meeting with Joe Biden's CIA director. He wasn't CIA director at the time. He was Barack Obama's Deputy Secretary of State. William Burns was working for John Kerry at the State Department and meeting with Jeffrey Epstein, a known pedophile. And then Burns becomes CIA director. Today's director of the CIA went to Epstein's Manhattan townhouse where Epstein had sex with underage girls and, where he filmed other men having sex with underage girls. And William Burns went there and was then promoted to the director of the CIA. Now, I wonder if the future CIA director saw the portrait of Bill Clinton in blue dress hanging in Epstein's parlor room. A few years later, Epstein was arrested and then hung himself in a jail cell while security cameras just happened to not be working and the replacement guards just happened to fall asleep. And 2 years later, Biden just happens to pick William Burns to run the CIA. So what are we supposed to think? It's never been more clear. Epstein was an intelligence asset. Not only was he working for the CIA, Israeli intelligence, maybe even Russia intelligence. So was the American government allowing an asset to traffic and molest teenage girls all over the world for intelligence?
Yep.
Were we allowing Epstein to commit crimes against children for blackmail material? Well, we asked the CIA director, William Burns, why were you meeting with a convicted pedophile at his disgusting townhouse? And the CIA director said this: the director did not know anything about him, other than that he was introduced as an expert in the financial services sector and offered general advice on transition to the private sector. They had no relationship. So Obama's State Department official couldn't have asked anybody else in the entire country for help with a job in finance? He could have called any CEO, any hedge fund manager, any banking director. But he meets with Jeffrey Epstein, a guy that doesn't even really have a real business, a guy that doesn't even have...
Okay, so that's Jesse Waters' take. Okay, check this out. This is from The Morning Show, and Truth Justice says this is why there are no Epstein lists in blackmail videos, because Epstein worked for Netanyahu and his Mossad intelligence agency, and they have all the files and videos on very powerful elites and politicians all around the world, including in America.
Recalled there of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Now, as part of our investigation, we spoke to Ari Ben-Mashani, who is a former Israeli spy. He said on the record unequivocally that Jeffrey Epstein was working for Israeli intelligence operations, the Mossad, and running a classic honey trap operation. That is, lure people inside, record their activities and learn about their peccadillos and use it to blackmail them. This is a former spy on the record in the new book, Epstein, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Interestingly, this person was also the handler of Jeffrey Epstein's best friend and ex-girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell. She was said to have been one of the women who helped procure the underage girls for Epstein. She has denied that. But her father was Robert Maxwell, a media and press baron who owned the Mirror News Group in England and also the New York Daily News. He was a former Mossad agent. And according to my source, Ari Ben-Mashari, the business that Robert Maxwell had was turned over to Jeffrey Epstein almost in a switch before Robert Maxwell died in mysterious circumstances off the back of a boat in 1991.
Well, this is mind-boggling stuff.
Of the Jeffrey...
Yeah, mind-boggling indeed. Mysterious circumstances off the back of a boat. Christy Lay. The only thing that makes any sense now is that Epstein was Mossad and the U.S. had some shady agreement with Israel to hide the truth. Change my mind. I mean, I just played you two mainstream media clips that prove that point. She was quote tweeting Eric Doherty 23 hours ago. New internal Trump DOJ FBI memo concluded there is no evidence Jeffrey Epstein had a client list and was well, you could see some things you just can't say on YouTube, you know. The administration is supposedly to release a video showing nobody entered the area of the prison where Epstein died. Well, I just showed you the edit of the video that the DOJ released. Epstein was Mossad. Former Israeli intelligence officer Ari Ben Manash said Epstein ran a Mossad honeypot operation after being recruited by Ghislaine Maxwell. You just heard him say it. Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, was a Mossad spy. And this is not the B, their article headline, DOJ posts full Epstein cell video as evidence. The video was sloppily edited. You can see the edit menu in the upper right corner at 12 o'clock. After 1 minute was cut from 1:59 to 12 o'clock. Dan, Cash, and Bondi are amateurs at corruption. Here we have Jesus Enrique Rosas' analysis of the cell block video released. The Department of Justice and the FBI released the full footage of the only working camera at the special housing unit, the cell blocks where Jeffrey Epstein was that night. There's a lot of strange stuff to unpack here. This is quite a long video. Okay, so we're going to cut to the point where he talks about the one missing minute. So at 1349, Epstein's seen alive for the last time.
Alive. I think it's fair, right? And we know that this is the last time that Jeffrey Epstein was seen alive because the timer marks 7:49 p.m. And according to the document, the full investigation of the FBI, that was the time that Jeffrey Epstein was seen alive one last time. And I'm going to just play this. Maybe we can play this in real time. You see two officers walking this inmate in orange. You see the only way that we can semi-confirm that this is Epstein is that, well, his hair was white. We know that his hair has always been white in all the pictures. We know that the guy was alive, or at least that's what we think. That was Jeffrey Epstein being led to his cell at 7:49 p.m. that night. The only other thing relevant that happened before that was this lady entering through gate 46. Remember that this is the only gate, the only way to go in and out of the SHU is through gate 46. And we're seeing right now an officer using the phone. You see a phone on the wall. That's the way that you communicate with the officers outside that can open this door. This door can only be opened from the outside. All right, she leaves like a trash bin right there. She waits until the door is open in a minute. It's going to be really quickly. Let's speed things up. Just for the record, remember, this is 7:46. You can always see the timer in the lower left corner. This is before Jeffrey Epstein was seen alive the last time.
Now let's go to what's this? Folder under the floor.
That someone who's going to pick those bags is important. We move on. We continue. Now we are at 9:07 p.m. and one officer, what is he doing? Oh, he is given some kind of secret paper or, I don't know, schedule or some kind of folder right below the door. They don't open the door. They just slide maybe an envelope. Maybe it's some kind of random paper. Maybe some kind of document that he needs for the shift. He goes to the door. He doesn't touch the phone because he's not going to request you open the door. Gets the folder and okay, no big deal. Now, what happens now at 9:11? Guy that looks like a maintenance. He doesn't look like an officer. Grabs the phone, asks for permission to get out. I guess that there's a camera. I guess that there has to be at least one camera working to see who requests to go out, right? You have to see if you're going to open the door from outside, who is...
Okay, let's go to the minute part. 1 minute missing.
Inside that part. Now, this is the thing. This is one. I think this is the greatest red flag of all this video. Of the 11 hours of this video, this is hands down one of the most concerning red flags. This video is not continuous. This video was spliced, was cut. And how do we know? because there's 1 full minute missing from the footage that we were promised that will be a continuous footage, continuous video without interruption, without editing. How do we know? Keep an eye here on the timer. It says 11:58, 50 p.m., right? And we go 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, and we guess that we're going to see 11:59, right? That minute, so close to midnight. 5 seconds to go. 6, 7, 8, 9. Hey, what happened? What happened in there? We're here. I'm going to do that again. 11:58, 55 seconds p.m. You never get to 11:58, 59 seconds and you just jump. I'm going to zoom in case you miss it, because this is proof that this video was tampered with in one way or another. There you are. 11:58, 58 jumps to straight to 12 a.m. At some point I thought, okay, maybe it's a glitch of the system. Maybe it shaves off 1 minute, but it's strange that it was not just 1 exact minute. It was 1 minute and 2 seconds. So that is strange in itself. And the other thing that's maybe the system, let's play devil's advocate here. Maybe the system splices the video itself when there's a change from one day to the other. That is a possibility. But then why does the frame, and by the frame I say, look at how the size and the orientation of, the frame is going to change. I'm going to rewind.
You see it. What happens? You see it punch in. It gets closer. Like, there's clearly a jump cut here.
And this again, so you're going to see how it jumps. 5, 4, 3, 8. Now it's smaller. First was bigger, and now it's smaller. And eagle-eyed body language bodies would have noticed that in the upper right corner of this video, something appeared that hasn't appeared in any other point of the video so far. What is this? This absolutely looks like a menu of a video editing app. You see the usual, what looks like, the backwards. This looks like the fast forward. Will be like the two edges of 2 arrows with it looks like a menu or a menu of some kind. This looks like a pause button. All right. And it is odd, right? Because this should have why is there a menu of a video editing app or any app going inside this? And you know what is the worst part? The worst part of this, the most concerning part, I'm going to tell you what is the most concerning part. I lost my bearings because there's so much stuff here happening. I'm going to help you see that this was happening from 11:24 p.m. on the marker. I'm going to fast forward back and forth, and you see that at many times the menu of this video editing software was just popping up. 11:55 p.m., 11:24 p.m. was there, 11:45 p.m. was there, and then you know what is crazy? After it changes to the next day to 12 a.m., remember that there's 1 minute missing? The video editing app menu never appears again.
You tell me, guys.
Requesting.
You tell me what's going on here.
Because
it sounds to me
alive.
This thing was straight up edited. What happened in that missing 1 minute of footage? Anyone could have walked through in that 1 minute of footage. From that door 46 down into the cell block. Jeffrey Epstein jail CCTV erased by technical errors. So that's the other question I have. If the video was erased, how did we get this? They suddenly just recovered it? Or is there another camera that got erased? Here is a former mobster who was once in the same jail as Jeffrey Epstein, claims there's no way Epstein could have done what he did, calling it physically impossible. He says the cell had nothing on the ceiling, and even basic tasks like using the bathroom were done under constant surveillance. Unless he was a magician, there's no way he pulled it off. If there's no client list, why is Ghislaine Maxwell in jail? If there's no client list and Epstein was just a financier, why would he do anything to himself? The FBI was supposed to make a client list based on the totality of evidence collected. Them saying there's no list is them saying we didn't do our job. It took 6 months of them saying they will release it to now it doesn't exist at all. Full 60 seconds missing from the video. Everybody has noticed this. 22 hours ago, DOJ, FBI conclude Epstein had no client list, and what he did to himself. I didn't think it'd get any worse after the binder stunt. Who could ever forget that moment, right? Okay, so now we have a question that was brought up at the press conference today. Let's hear the White House official response.
Revealed no.
Sure.
Caroline. Okay, so.
And the voice you're hearing is Peter Doocy from Fox News, in the front row, asking the question.
Sure.
Caroline. Okay, so the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars. They have an operation going on right now called Summer Heat, which has our murder rate trending in the lowest direction in United States history. Their emphasis...
There's the pivot. There's the pivot. This is all to protect the blackmail operation and to keep those politicians in check. Unbelievable. Let's see if we have anything else. Let's see what Alex is saying about this.
I woke up this morning and turned my phone on, and there were hundreds of text messages saying, oh my God, the DOJ just put out a letter that I know you've all seen now, saying there is no Epstein client list, there never was any blackmail operation, Epstein killed himself, and the investigation's closed. So everybody wants to know what I think. Well, I know what's going on. And so I'll tell you. Trump had two ways to go with all of this. He could prosecute all of these incredibly prominent people, household names, or they could use the information to blackmail the deep state. I've done deep research, have a lot of contacts, and know Trump's MO. And he's not into kids, he's not into being peed on, and Russian hotels, all that was lies. We now know from the CIA and Brennan and the very crew running the Epstein operation. But the reason that you are seeing this deep sixth is because the CIA with the Mossad and MI6 was running Epstein, and it was an official U.S. government operation, multinational. And it was the family business going back to Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, and that's all on record. So if Trump was to actually prosecute this, it would bring down the CIA. And so that's why you've had Comey, who controlled the files over at the FBI with the CIA, but on that end of the DOJ, having his daughter do all the main cover-ups. not just with the Epstein and Maxwell case, but obviously P. Diddy and the rest of it. So this is the swamp winning. The question is Trump's DOJ actually using this to control the deep state? Or are they just so overwhelmed by it, they are tapping out? Because, let me explain logic here. And from all obvious inside sources, we're the ones that broke with the FBI whistleblowers, O'Boyle and others, Seraphin, all of this that was first unfolding, 5 months ago when they were supposed to, have this 14 terabytes. They'd sent it out to the FBI field offices for investigation. And Pam Bondi went on Fox a bunch of times. So did the U.S. attorneys from Jersey and said, oh, yeah, we've seen it, hundreds of new victims and videos and all this horrible stuff, kids being raped. Hundreds of new victims, we're going to be releasing it. So you wouldn't say all that if you were planning to cover it up from the beginning. So something has changed along the way, and it all points towards this being used to blackmail the deep state. I'm not endorsing it.
I mean, he's trying to put a silver lining on this whole thing. Maybe that's true. Using it to blackmail the deep state, I don't know. All I know is there's a minute of footage missing. Anything could happen in that minute. And it was all to cover up this operation. So there's still a lot of questions. We're going to keep track of this. But if you got value from this report, tap subscribe. It's time for my final thought. They left the edit menu open. Think about that. The most important surveillance footage in modern history, and they couldn't even close their editing software before releasing it. 1 minute missing. From 11:58 to midnight exactly. But it gets worse. Former Israeli intelligence confirms Epstein ran a Mossad honeypot. His handler, Ghislaine Maxwell, whose father was also Mossad. This wasn't just blackmail. It was state-sponsored intelligence gathering on American soil. So yes, the client list exists. The videos exist. But they're not in FBI custody? Well, where are they? Perhaps they're in Tel Aviv. And that's why there's no arrests. That's why Maxwell trafficked kids to nobody. That's why they're desperately editing footage and hoping that nobody will notice. But of course, we noticed. We always notice. So here's my question. Do you believe that Epstein did what he did to himself? Or was he silenced to protect the network? Answer below. And if you want to show that you are awake and not woke, head over to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, trigger a liberal with our Alligator Alcatraz or President Autopen shirt, and support the network, our network. Okay. Thank you, guys. Tom Before 20 dropping $5. And he says, a bunch of emoji, thumbs up. America, America. Thank you, Tom B. And R. Boyd dropping $10. What does he want to say here on the show tonight? Epstein dead? Diddy walks? Maxwell trafficked children to nobody? Not pissed off enough about what? Thank you, R. Boyd, for that. $10. Okay. I believe we have our trivia answer now. Okay. What year did the infamous Titanic disaster... Wait, did I totally skipped past the answer. My bad. Which intelligence agency was caught running on MK Ultra mind control experiments until 1973? It was C, the CIA, and you guys got it right. MK Ultra involved illegal experiments on unwitting Americans, proving agencies will do anything for control. All right, let's move to our next trivia question. What year did the infamous Titanic disaster lead to new maritime safety regulations? A, 1910, B, 1912, C, 1914, or D, 1916? Wasn't it 1914? Was it 1912 when the Titanic went down? So 1912, I'm guessing. So what year did the disaster lead to the new safety regulations? So if there was a disaster, I would have to say the regulations would come after the disaster. So 1914. That's my logical deduction here. The answer is C. We'll see if I'm correct. We'll see if you guys are correct. You guys are already saying it's C. We're going to find out exactly after this segment. Let's see, I had something here. Hang on, I'm just trying to make sure I got all my pieces together for this. Let's see. Excuse me. Okay. How bad does it have to get before a cruise line literally bans music? Well, we're about to find out. What started as family vacations turned into floating fight clubs, complete with chair-throwing melees, nightclub brawls, and violence so extreme that children are getting lifetime bans. 33 consecutive months leading all cruise lines in crime. A man beaten into a coma. The Coast Guard called in to stop a threesome riot. And now Carnival just dropped the hammer with rules so strict the internet is melting down. They're called the Spirit Airlines of the Sea, and frankly, that might be an insult to Spirit. And what you're about to see will make you never want to step foot on a cruise ship again, so get ready. And while Carnival tries to restore order at sea, there's another battle for civilization happening in our schools. Your kids are being indoctrinated daily, taught that chaos is culture and rule or oppression. That's why the Tuttle Twins created Liberty First content that teaches children real values, economics, responsibility, and freedom. This is their monthly magazine, uses comics and activities to counter the madness. Just like Carnival finally said enough to the chaos, parents need to say enough to educational indoctrination. And for just $56 per year at TuttleTwins.com/next, link below, you can arm your kids, your grandkids, your niece or nephew with a gift of the truth. Because whether it's cruise ship brawls or classroom brainwashing, the collapse of standards affects our children's most. Remember, freedom is never more than one generation from extinction. So don't let your child become another casualty of cultural decay. Teach them to think, not just to comply. It's linked down below, TuttleTwins.com/next. So this was trending over the weekend. And I actually had a conversation with a friend about Carnival Cruise Lines. Just on the 4th of July. And the next day, Carnival Cruise Lines is trending. Matt Gaetz, 2 days ago, looks like Carnival is tired of being the floating Spirit Airlines. The Daily Sneed, as of June 2025, these are the new rules Carnival Cruise has implemented, and people are melting down. Stricter drug enforcement. Stricter. Cannabis, even if legal in your home state, is banned on board under federal law. Violators face removal and permanent bans. Youth curfew. Guests 17 and under must leave public spaces by 1 a.m. That's not bad, right? Unless accompanied by an adult or part of a supervised teen program. Fan restrictions. Yes, fans. Handheld non-battery fans are now prohibited, partly due to safety concerns surrounding the viral Wear Them Fans at line dance. I'm not familiar with it. I think we have video for that. There's also now a Bluetooth speaker ban. Have you ever been to a place where you're just trying to enjoy it and someone shows up with a Bluetooth speaker and they just start blasting their music? It is so disrespectful to everybody around. It's noise pollution. Especially I see it happening at the beach. It's one thing to have a Bluetooth speaker like on your beach towel, keeping it low, respectful. Apparently people on Carnival cruise lines, they like to blast it. So Bluetooth speakers are now banned. Guests may no longer play their own music in public areas. Carnival says the rule is for comfort. Many see it as racial bias in enforcement. The drink package enforcement. The 15-drink daily limit on Carnival's Cheers package has existed for years, but is now being enforced more strictly. 15 drinks? Damn, that's a lot of drinks. Also this, reduced music genre options. Though not officially banned, hip-hop and rap appear to be quietly removed from many ship playlists. DJs also reportedly decline guest requests now. Now, why did all this happen? I mean, here's some footage. This is from April of 29. This guy gave us some commentary on the Carnival Cruise Line fight. When's it going to end? He says, why am I amongst a handful of black folks speaking out against it? Do be better. Well, here, look at this. Before we get to his commentary, look at this happen. 24 blacks banned from Carnival Cruise after Royal Rumble jungle warfare erupts. Look at this.
People being pushed to the ground. 24 people are now banned from sailing with Carnival Cruise Line after getting into a fight. The video from Saturday appears to show a group of people, you see them here, shoving each other while disembarking a ship inside of a terminal in Galveston. You can see people being pushed to the ground. In a statement to NBC News, Carnival says this happened in an area under the authority of U.S. Customs and Border Patrol and has been turned over to law enforcement.
Galveston, Texas, April 26th. Here we have another one. June 15, passengers break out into an all-out brawl on a Carnival cruise ship. They can be seen throwing chairs and destroying the place. And you can see other people watching with pure fascination. I mean, this is the kind of stuff. Here we have another one. Amiri King posting this 7 hour. How much would Carnival have to pay you to go on one of their cruises? And I'm not sure what this guy's doing here. He appears to be
off every spot.
Oh.
Take it off every spot.
Wake y'all ass up. Man, wake y'all ass up. Ain't no sleep on this motherfucking boat. Wake y'all ass up.
So he's going through the Carnival Cruise hallway, taking off all the do not disturb signs on everyone's door. Oh, and 3 days ago, Carnival Cruise Line, Embarkation Day, Guy's Burger, and a holiday weekend doesn't get better than this. They got roasted. They got roasted in the comments on this one. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm just going to show you some of these. You can read them to yourself. I mean, this is our go-to for Embarkment Day. Looks like some of these have been pruned since I saw. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, boy. Your website is down. You know what's funny is when I initially bookmarked that tweet, the replies were completely different. So Carnival Cruise must have gone in there and called up Elon Musk and said, you know what? We need to get rid of some of these tweets on our posts. Jay Baker, we've cruised with Carnival for 29 cruises since 2014 and are very disappointed in the updates to the VIFP program. We've lately seen experienced an increase with the guests pushing fights and rude behavior to the point where we're worried about our safety. People are worried. Here's another massive brawl breaks out in the nightclub of Carnival cruise ship just off New York Harbor. It started because someone got jealous over a threesome The Coast Guard was called in to escort the ship back to New York. That's what you get on Carnival, and that's apparently why they are cracking down. Here's another fight, Carnival Cruise, where even the vacations can turn into a fight night. Ready to rumble on the high seas? There doesn't appear to be any volume on this. But look at more fighting. Carnival Cruise. People in their bikinis, bathing suits, swim attire, getting in brawls. It's crazy. Oh, but there's more. Tammy K, you go on a cruise, you get all ratchet, start fights, loud, get drunk, invade other people's spaces, twerk half naked, you wonder why Carnival, who's there to make money, doesn't want you back. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin. It has everything to do with your behavior. It's a big turnoff to the rest of us who just want to enjoy our vacation without the drama. Bill Herring, finally some common sense from Carnival Cruise. My kids were exposed to this crap on a cruise and were horrified. Then, leaving the tunnel, there was the biggest brawl I ever witnessed by the same people. I had never this problem with the 300-pound tattooed morons. Okay, so here. This is what Carnival's known for. It's a meme at this point.
I am just trying to get back to my room. Do better, Carnival Cruise.
Okay. What? Turn it on!
I am just trying to get back to my room. Do better, Carnival Cruise.
Okay. What? Turn it on!
So people just, like, doing backflips in the hallways. Section 8 of the Seas, that's what they're calling it. Shocking Carnival Cruise brawls expose floating ghetto chaos. 60-person brawl. This was July 1st of 2022. A 60-person brawl breaks out on Carnival Cruise dance floor over threesome between passengers. That was the video I showed you. Here's another one. This is September 16th of 2022. A brawl on a Carnival cruise ship. The fight was over a lounge chair.
She put her wig off. She swung her.
See Biggie Smalls there is trying to hold it back, keep a whistle blowing off. The lifeguard going, okay, enough fighting. Tweet, tweet.
But this girl had nothing to do with it. She was like jumping on a woman for her. Yeah, that's a bitch ass move he just did. You don't hit no lady like that. He whooped her ass. Here goes somebody's shoe. Is this your shoe? Is this yours? She put her wig off.
The wig's flying everywhere. Okay, let's see what this guy's commentary was. Look, another one here. September. Elijah Schaefer posted this. September 2nd of 2024. This is the 4th Carnival cruise fight I've seen today, he says. It looks like, okay, we got another angle, folks. We got another angle of that lounge chair fight. We got a flag on the play. I gotta find that guy's commentary. Where'd it go? Let's see. We saw that one. Let's see. Where's that guy's commentary? I want to hear it. Let's see. We saw that one. We saw that one. Oh, here we go.
After video after 24 people are now banned from sailing with Carnival Cruise Line after getting into a fight. The video.
So, honest question for the black community. And
okay, so here's Zeke Arkham. This is his commentary on the Carnival Cruise Line fight. He says, I hate this. When is it going to end? Why am I amongst a handful of black folks speaking out?
The blacker than black, because I'm black, y'all crowd. Are you condemning this? Are you tired of this? Are you sick of watching it happen in video after video after video? Because I am. I'm embarrassed by it. I hate watching this. I hate when this type of news is shared and it's the same people over and over again. Whether it's in a Chuck E. Cheese and there's a mass fight in a Chuck E. Cheese, or it's, just random acts of violence and it's young black men, young teenagers out there attacking people. Are you condemning this? Or are you pointing the finger and going, well, they're doing this and, oh, well, leave us alone? Or my personal favorite, I don't have to make myself palatable to you. Where's the outrage against this? Because listen, I'm just a coon, right? I'm a coon. I'm an Uncle Tom, right? I mean, I moved away from all this. I'm embarrassed by it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to experience it. So I moved away from all of it. I keep myself away from these type of events. I don't go on Carnival. I don't go on Spirit. I don't go on Frontier. I don't go where I know there's going to be a certain hood and ghetto element when I go on vacation or just in my regular daily life. I go around this when I have to. So where's the outrage? Where's the embarrassment? Is anybody going to speak out about this? Because it's happening. And it's happening more and more. And it's the same people. As much as I hate to notice a pattern crowd, I'm starting to notice a pattern. So I'm speaking out against it. Why aren't you? Where's Al Sharpton speaking out about this? Where's BLM? Maybe it doesn't suit their financial goals, right? And that's what it's all about. Shame on them. Shame on you. Zeke Arkham, got you 6. Bye.
24 people are now banned.
Yeah. So these rules triggered hell of a lot of outrage over the weekend. Everyone calling it racist. Rio says that black fatigue has affected Carnival Cruise after dozens of rowdy brawls, assaults, drunken fights started by its black patrons. It has officially banned Bluetooth speakers, loud, explicit hip-hop, rap music on cruises. Black women are upset, claiming it is part of black culture and Carnival's policy is racist. Many are canceling their cruise reservations. Now, is this another one? I do have another here. This is the one here.
Carnival Cruise Line. Tensions are running high over Carnival Cruise Line as some say they've turned racist.
Carnival Cruise Line does not like black people and they don't want black people taking their cruises, okay?
The reason? New rules the cruise line recently introduced. They include a marijuana ban, minors curfew, alcohol control, and even an alleged rap ban, though this one hasn't been officially announced.
They do not have to worry about me. We got the message loud and clear. We are not your demographic anymore.
You bet the F around and find out real soon.
More outrage came after a ban on hand fans inside their clubs.
They said no fans. They're basically getting rid of boots on the ground. I don't know why that song bothers people so much.
However, many disagree this is discrimination against black passengers.
Carnival Cruise said, not on my watch. We are not doing this no more.
Like, y'all act like y'all have no home training. Everywhere don't have to be a party. Some people pay for this just to simply relax.
Do you think Carnival cruises are racist, or are they just trying to bring some... Tensions are running high over Carnival cruises.
So that was trending over the weekend. If you got value with this report, and if you're not going on Carnival Cruise anymore, hit subscribe. My final thought is next. So Carnival just did what every business in America wants to do, but is too scared to try. They looked at 33 months of crime statistics, watched their ships turn into the world star hip-hop highlight reel, and said enough. No more Bluetooth speakers blasting hallways, no more explicit music at family pools, no more twerking at 11 a.m. as kids are walking by. And of course, the online meltdown is glorious. They're calling it racist, claiming it targets black culture. But since when is assault, chair throwing, and 60-person brawls considered culture? You even saw Zeke Arkham asking why he is one of the only black voices calling this out. You saw Matt Gaetz. He said Carnival got tired of being floating Spirit Airlines. It's not about race. It's about standards. It's about families spending $3,000 for vacation, not UFC on the water. So here's my question for you. Should more businesses follow Carnival's lead and ban disruptive behavior? Let's have a conversation in the comments below. And make sure if you want to support our work here at the Next News Network, you can check out shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. President Auto Pen t-shirts, people loving those. Alligator Alcatraz and a new badass line, American Badass line has now dropped. So trigger a liberal today and go to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay, we do have a couple of comments in the super chats directly related to this report. Elf of Courage dropping $4.99. Other than three, I have no problem with these rules. Okay, Elf, thank you for sharing. Sue Studio 0530 just dropping $5 to say hello. Thank you so much for that. And then Elf of Courage came back and said that I have been going on Carnival for years, close to platinum card status. I would still go on Carnival, never cause trouble, and don't intend to. Well, thank you for that, Elf of Courage. All right, let's get to our trivia answer. Let's see what you guys said. You guys said it was 1912. Damn, I was so wrong, huh? I was so wrong. You guys got it right. What year did the infamous Titanic disaster lead to new maritime safety regulations? 1912. The Titanic sinking led to SOLA's Safety of Life at Sea, forever changing maritime law. So my logic was that the law passed afterwards. 1912 is when it actually sank. So I thought it may have taken some time for the law to get through and pass. So that's why I'm wrong.
How dare you?
Sorry. That's what it is. All right, folks. Let's see what's going on in the main feeds as we are checking in. Okay. What is this? 12 minutes ago, Stephen Miller dropping a truth nuke. Absolute truth nuke from Stephen Miller. The Democrat Party's objective is to flood the West with millions upon millions of illegals.
This is the central struggle in the West. The Democrat Party's objective is to flood the West with millions upon millions of illegals from the developing world, from the poor nations of the world, the failed states of the world, the collapsing states of the world. believing that in so doing, they will collapse the West. They will collapse the middle class. They will collapse the population that has lived here before the migrants came. And in so doing, they think in the rubble of that, they can rule. They can sit on top of the pile of ashes. Ask yourself this. Why is it that Democrats are so insistent that unlimited numbers of illegals from countries that are incapable of managing their own affairs come here? Countries like Somalia, countries like Haiti, countries that have no history of successful self-government, and they want unlimited numbers of illegals from those countries and refugees from those countries to come here with no chance at the pace, the scope of arrivals, at being able to assimilate and integrate into the American way of life. What has it done to our schools? What has it done to our hospitals? What has it done to just traffic in our cities? Every issue that affects our quality of life, Jesse, public safety, drugs, crime, education, healthcare, waiting in the emergency room, are all exacerbated, worsened, and undermined by mass illegal immigration. This is the central struggle.
Yep. Makes perfect sense to me. Oh, look at this meme. Matt Couch. Things that make you go, If there are no clients, why am I in jail? Let's see. Spill the memes. So did anyone else go through a phase as a kid where you genuinely concerned about the Bermuda Triangle? 6-year-old me was like, bro, why are we not solving this problem? Oh, yeah. Mayor Karen Bass will fight for rights as long as you're an MS-13 gang member here illegally. Oh, so we have an image of her from that gaggle in that video we showed you earlier. Yep, there she is in that, I don't know, green, teal, whatever, mint-colored blazer. Shaming you. London in 2025. 10 hours ago, we have this from the White House. Scott Ruskin and his air crew saved 165 lives in their first mission during the Texas floods. From the U.S. military to first responders and volunteers, these brave Americans remind us who we are. When disaster strikes, they don't run from the storm, they run into it. Coast Guard swimmer and air crew saves 165 lives. Wow. What's this? Wall Street apes. This woman, who regularly spends $3,000 on a trip on EBT food stamps at the grocery store, reveals she has 7 kids. She called it her EBT Unlimited card because she gets so much money a month for having so many kids, proudly stating, I'm not paying cash because it's free.
Jump off the fucking in their butt. Pussy asshole. Come up. Look. Get on your knee, let me put a cow up in your throat. Pussy hole, let me see you drop it to the floor. I'm real freak, I'm finna jump off the fucking door. I'm on some in their butt. Pussy asshole. Come up. Look. Get on your knee, let me put a cow up in your throat. Pussy hole, let me.
Oh my goodness. 51-year-old Hollywood actress Kate Beckinsale chews on bubblegum while wearing a bra and gigantic platform boots while walking her dog. What? That's Hollywood. Kate Beckinsale? I voted for this. Anyone catching on yet? Who can remember this moment, huh? Ever forget that? There's the non-existent client list. And that's DC Drano with the beard. And Libs of TikTok is the brunette in the middle. And she's like, hey, I got the list. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Yeah. Tara Bull posting, so there was no list at all. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said on Friday she's currently reviewing the list, according to Newsweek, February 21st, 2025. Flash forward to July 7th, 2025. Department of Justice memo says there is no evidence Epstein kept a client list or blackmailed prominent individuals. What a joke. FBI was investigating 36 young girls. Epstein did something in traffic until Epstein agreed to rat out Wall Street hedge fund execs for laundering money. Then feds agreed to bury the federal charges. Here, the FBI admits Epstein is their informant. Former FBI Director Ray lied. What do you know? Oh, and now Hawaii is burning again? Hawaii is burning. Mandatory evacuations underway in Oahu. Fast-moving brush fire in Maili has forced evacuations for neighborhoods. Wow. Jaguar's rebranding gamble triggered a 98% collapse in sales. Not surprising. Let's see. What is this? Is this okay? So Luke posted this 20 hours ago. Is this when she said she had the list?
Agencies. So the DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll check back with you.
Yeah, we'll check back with you. So there you have it, folks. 5 stories that prove the establishment is in full panic mode. We started with Trump's big, beautiful bill delivering everything promised. 48 million families getting help. Workers keeping their hard-earned money. Historic tax relief while Elon Musk tries to split the movement with his 4% America Party backed by Never-Trumpers and Democrat allies. Then we expose the border war reaching critical mass. 100% increase in attacks on ICE agents, including today's McAllen shooting. But Trump's response is overwhelming. $46 billion for the wall, ICE finally getting funded, and illegals fleeing. Meanwhile, Musk wants to hand Democrats power to defund it all. Then we revealed the Texas flood truth, where meteorologists gave days of warning while leftists exploited dead children for racial politics. 12 professionals in San Angelo, 11 in San Antonio, all doing their jobs while activists spread poison. The administration responded with action, not tweets about Mars. The Epstein bombshell should end careers. They left the edit menu visible on doctored footage. 1 minute, vanished, gone. Mossad connections confirmed, and the client list does exist, probably just in Tel Aviv, though, not in Washington. And the cover-up is collapsing, but they'd rather talk about third parties than accountability. And Carnival Cruise Lines did what every business wants to do. They chose families over chaos. 33 months of crime statistics forcing their hand. No more floating fight clubs. The usual suspects scream racism, while decent Americans applaud standards returning. So to everyone who sent in Super Chats and Rumble Rants tonight, you guys are the show. Thank you. Elf of Courage, Studio, R. Boyd, and our new members, and Irving Sanguinetti, Tom B. 420, our new members. Thank you, Tom B., for gifting those. Wyatt Earp as well. You guys are the voices cutting through the establishment noise and reach millions. You've proved we don't need billionaire parties or mainstream media. We just have each other. James Fishback said it best. Real Americans don't want to escape to Mars. We just want to save Earth. So while Musk pays politics with Cuban and Pence, Trump delivers results. That is the difference between talk and action, between splitting votes and uniting Americans. This is bigger than today's stories. It's about whether we let ego-driven billionaires and swamp creatures divide us when we're finally winning. See Trump's success. They see our movement growing, and they're terrified. So, good. Let them sweat. So tell everybody about the raw feed. Text it, share it, shout it. The algorithm cannot stop truth when we spread it ourselves. They want us divided, distracted, and demoralized. Instead, we are informed, united, and unstoppable. And don't forget to visit shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and wear your support proudly. Every purchase funds independent media, while the establishment funds division. Thank you for joining the Raw Feed today. Keep fighting, keep sharing, keep believing, and we'll see you next time. Same place, same mission, destroying narratives and rebuilding America. This is Gary Franchi signing off. Stay strong, Patriots. The best is yet to come.
You said people can